Casey Neistat once called it the impossible dream. Luke Skywalker had it too. It's that sickening feeling when you just know that you're meant for something greater, something that seems impossible. This is mine, a half Ironman, a 1.2 mile swim, a 56 mile bike ride. Oh, and by the way, you finish with a half marathon, 70.3 miles. Over the years, I've given up on this race more times than I care to admit. Different Air Force assignments, different continents, same ending, failure. This obsession taught me that the real challenge wasn't the race. It was learning that you have to stop sacrificing your potential by conforming to the expectations of controlling small-minded pushers of paper. More on that in part 2.
We need to talk about your TPS reports.
So when I first decided I wanted to do a half Ironman, I was stationed in Korea. I didn't even have a bike, just a pair of running shoes and a rather underutilized base pool, and I wanted to prove something, that I had control.
Control.
And I was lying to myself. I think that's why Casey's video hit me so hard. It's that relentless chase, that obsession to do something almost impossible. Not because anyone told you you had to, but because you just gotta know.
Okay, we're off.
But in the military, your life doesn't really belong to you. You have training exercises, 12-hour shifts, deployments. Like, before long, my dream slid onto the back burner. And I told myself, I'd pick it up next time.
But it's a whole nother year. It's only one more season.
If I'm honest, I would come to hate that refrain next time. Moody Air Force Base was supposed to be my reset, my next time. But instead, it's where I started losing myself. And I fell into this trap. I started chasing the approval of people that didn't care about me and pouring every ounce of energy into work, just hoping that I'd be seen as good enough. And I'm willing to bet that you've been there, when every day seems like a test that you can't pass, and your email inbox feels like a minefield. And I kept chasing external approval, compliant, reliable, pouring every ounce of my energy into looking competent instead of being myself. I stopped running, I stopped writing, and I stopped creating. And before long, I stopped recognizing the man in the mirror. In The Empire Strikes Back, Yoda tells Luke to stay, to finish his training, to follow the rules. But Luke can't. His friends are in danger, and something inside him says, go.
It is you and your abilities the Emperor wants. That is why your friends are made to suffer.
That's why I have to go.
And I think that's what obedience feels like when it turns into compromise, when the cost of pleasing others is betraying yourself. And that scene hits different for me now, because that's what it feels like when I started realizing I was living someone else's definition of success. And that's when this question started haunting me. I'm playing a game, but am I playing the right one? Simon Sinek called it the infinite game. The finite game is all about winning. Fixed players, set rules, stats, awards,
Shots fired.
It's about checking boxes that other people drew for you. It's that fixed pie theory of success, that for someone to be doing well, someone else must therefore be put down. It's when creative potential is sacrificed on the altar of the careerist bureaucrats.
The bureaucrats are in charge now.
But the infinite game, that's not about winning anything. It's about playing, staying in the fight. And as cheesy as it is, it's about who you become on the journey.
Come with me. It is the only way.
And I realized I was living like a finite player. I was trying to win the Air Force game, at least the way I saw it, but in the process, I was losing myself. And that was my breaking point. You know, the Stoic philosophers believed that freedom isn't something that you're just given. It's something that you achieve for yourself through discipline. It's perspective. Epictetus, who was a former slave turned philosopher, so he knew a thing or two about this stuff, he said, "No man is free who is not the master of himself." And that's it. Like, my desire for approval had become my master. So my failed attempts at doing this half Ironman, like, they were my attempts at rebellion. It was my way of saying, I don't want to play by your rules anymore. So it was actually earlier this year in the middle of my deployment when I received orders to my next assignment and immediately signed up for the third time for a half Ironman, this time in Wilmington, North Carolina. We made the move and I started training again. Slowly. And real talk, like, I've had weeks where I felt unstoppable, and others where I was barely scraping by. But I stopped letting perfection be the enemy of progress. Like, I was not able to stick to the training plan in the way that I wanted to. But running has always kind of been my therapy, because if I'm honest, my mind gets a little loud, and my mental and spiritual health really broke down in Georgia. But when I would go for a run, those ugly voices would go quiet. Those are some of the only times that I felt free, the master of myself. These moments where I wasn't a pawn in someone else's career. It was just me chasing an impossible dream. Race morning always kind of feels like that silence before the storm, but I'm not here to prove anything. I'm here to remember who I am.
And for a whole new generation.
All right, let's finish this. In Return of the Jedi, the Emperor offers Luke everything. Power, revenge, control.
Fulfill your destiny. Take your father's place at my side.
But Luke drops his lightsaber. He refuses to play the Emperor's game. He makes a different choice. That's what this race is for me. The swim was absolute chaos. The bike portion actually went pretty smoothly.
You got this?
But the run is where things began to fall apart. Right at mile 5, I somehow strained my left peroneus tendon. But it hurt like hell. And I had to stop at the medical tent and stop again to get it iced. And that's when I kept hearing those ugly voices again. See, you didn't train enough. Of course you injured yourself, you moron. Who do you think you are? Well, Luke Skywalker is about to answer this very question of identity. A young, idealistic farm boy stops and refuses to give in to hatred and instead declares his identity. I am a Jedi like my father before me. And that's what I'm trying to do out here, remembering who I am when everything else tries to make me forget.